Wait. Am I late? No, I guess I'm not. I'm here. Okay, we're ready. All right. Hey, everybody. Want to welcome you to this session of Know Your Numbers. I am Lynn Hamiliton, your lead instructor here at Samson Properties. Having fun this morning. So we are going to have an interesting class. It is one that I have not done for you before. So you're in for a treat, I think. So let's go ahead and get through our basics. As always, I want to thank Cardinal Title for sponsoring the class. And again, there's a whole team behind us as well that make this all come together. And I just want to give a shout out to all of them that make sure that it all comes together, whether it's, JD back there doing the video streaming for you, or the ones behind the scene to make sure that the handouts are posted up in Cardinal Nest for you. So there's a whole bunch of people behind the scenes that I just want to give a shout out and a thank you to as well. So can't do it without them, and I'm glad they're there for us. So with that, thank you to them. So let's go ahead and a quick reminder of the suggestions for all the classes. If you haven't already, we want to go ahead and make sure that you are, which way is my hair going? That way, this way? It's going one way or the other. Anyway, it is what it is. All right, so the front page, they're laughing at me. The front page of each session is designed as kind of a checklist for you. So make sure that you have printed them out, put 3-hole punch in them, and put them into your binder. That way, if you're going to have a meeting with me or any of your managers, your mentor, or your coach or anybody, we can take a look at what you've gotten done and what you haven't gotten done along the way. So there you go. And as always, the page numbers on the screen coincide with the page number on the handouts. So boom, easy to follow. All right, so a couple quick reminders of the classroom rules, or even if you're online, we'll make sure that your phones are off or silent. I'm going to ask you to be attentive and tuned into what's going on. I want you to be open to some new ideas. With that, I always want to ask, may I have your permission to be blunt and honest with you? Tell you what you need to know, not always what you want to hear. Give me a thumbs up in class. Awesome. Thumbs are popping up all over the place. That's good. I'm going to remind you to hear my heart, forgive my mouth, because sometimes it just shoots out. But now I've gotten good. So if I know it's getting ready to come, I'll usually give you a warning that it's about ready to jump out. So, but just know it comes from the heart. You do have to laugh at my stupid jokes. Louder. There you go. All right, sounds good. Yes, we have fun in class, so if you're watching it online, you're missing it. What I do ask you to do is have that aha moment at the end, whether it's this class or any other class. After training about 4,000 agents over this umpteen years, the one thing that I found that was frustrating was agents would go to classes, and you would ask them what was their aha, what was their takeaway. And they would go, oh my God, the class was just so good, I just don't know. And then you'd ask them the same question a couple weeks later, it was the same answer. Ask them the same question again in a month, same question, same answer. 6 months later, same question, same answer. A year later, same question, same answer. And they're wondering why their business is still in the tank where it was a year ago. Because they never took anything they learned and implemented it. This information, along with any other information that you hear, see, learn, is no good until you put it into action. And that goes right in alignment with that old saying, if you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, then you'll do something about it. And if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. And the only way it's going to change, improve, get better, less stressful, is by implementing these things and letting them become part of the natural flow of your business. So hopefully that'll be part of your aha takeaway. What do I need to take and implement into my business? So with that, there you go. Those are the basics. All right, so just a quick reminder, every Thursday from 11 to 12, I do a Zoom GoToMeeting link. We may be changing the link as of January, but it'll be posted on Cardinal Nest for you. Put it on your calendar, set it to repeat, and join me. It's basically a Q&A for you. So if you've got a question or you've been studying whatever lesson you're on and you've got a question or you want to get into it a little bit deeper, that's your time to chime in and say, hey, Lynn, I've got a question about this. How do I best execute that? Or I've had this challenge pop up. What do I do? So that time is set aside for you. So as always, we like to start with the word of wisdom. This class today is about knowing your numbers. And it's going to be some different ones that you may not be thinking, oh, I never thought about that one. But there is no way to monitor your progress and troubleshoot your business without knowing your numbers. And I know there's a lot of people that just go, I don't like to track. Well, you know, tough. So what numbers are important and what do we need to do? All right, so this is just simply taking and adding one more piece to the puzzle that we are building out. And you know I got my little puzzles here because all this training is great and wonderful, but unless you know how to put it together, you're just looking at these puzzle pieces going, but that was good. That was a good class, but I don't know what to do with it. And okay, so these were good, but somebody said to go, but I don't know where they're supposed to fit in at. So these are all the other pieces to your puzzle, your business, the foundation of your business. My goal has always been to help map them out to you methodically. Put them together in order, because I'm tired of seeing agents running around like a chicken with their head cut off, going from class to class to class to class, not knowing what to do and not knowing how it all connects and comes in together. Quick point of reference. Remember Jumpstart Session 1? What was the one thing we talked about very first? Your big why. But I took it down and said, okay, now here's how you use it with your clients, whether it be on the buyer side or the seller side. That was in Samson Jumpstart Session 1. Boop, 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 boop. Pieces later, we're talking about the buyer and the seller consultation. And I'm explaining how that concept connects to the other piece. And so hopefully by now, if you've done more than one or two of my classes, you're starting to see where the pieces are starting to connect and where they're one's fitting into the other and the one's fitting into the other. So that is why I encourage you all to go through this methodically, and then based off where you need to go next, and we've even done a what's next. Now that you've completed Jumpstart Session 3, what's next? Now that you've completed Jumpstart Session 4, what's next? And I go through the other sessions, classes, that are going to be most valuable to you. And it's all about doing it in order and executing them out. So there you have it. So this one is, what is the first thing that people are going to ask? Have you ever had your car serviced? Show of hands. Okay? Yeah, I had mine in yesterday. What is one of the first things they're going to ask or take a look at? They're going to ask you the mileage. They're going to ask you something about oil weight. I don't know, it's in the tab on the car door. There's oil in the car, that's all I know. They're going to check, you're going to start your car, you're going to see all the RPMs, you're going to see the temperature gauge, they're going to see your fuel, you're going to see what channel you're on, you're going to see if you're, what radio station you're listening to, what you've listened to in the past, what your GPS is, which of the, hit the little button, it's going to tell you which of the last 10 proper places you've gone. It's all the numbers. Can they service a car without knowing the numbers? No. I gotta, No, they can't. Because if you come in that your engine is making a funny sound, they're not gonna go check the tires necessarily. Now, they may do that as part of it, but they need to know the numbers. So, the same thing applies. Have you ever been to a doctor? Anybody? Everybody's thumbs are up, yes. What are some of the first things they wanna know? Your height, your weight, which is always a lie, your blood pressure, your temperature, your blood ox, and that's just to get you started. Then it goes into the lab work and the x-rays or whatever else they're needing to know. They're needing to know the numbers. Now, spoiler alert, if you ever go to a doctor and they go, oh, let's go do surgery because I'm sure I can find something wrong, get up and run. Because that's probably not the best option. They want to know the numbers. They want to know the symptoms. They want to know the process of elimination. So there you, again, you go to a doctor, they're going to want to know all the numbers. Have you ever had a business plan? Now, plug for David Warfield's class. Yep, I'm seeing thumbs up in class. Excellent. So once you have done a business plan, what is it about? Numbers. Want to know what is your financial goal income? Is that before taxes, after taxes? What is your cost of business? Do you know? How many transactions does that calculate to? What is the sales price point that you work in? Those are all numbers. They won't eat you, but you just got to know your numbers. If you want to do 2 transactions a year, but you want to make, $500,000, you better calculate the price point. Okay? It's all about the numbers. So it's what goes into making that all happen. Now, does anybody ever, we used to say balance the checkbook. I know that's showing my age. But monitor your bank account, know what your personal finances are, know what your mortgage payment is, know what your monthly expenses are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's all numbers. It's all numbers. That's all it is. So you need to know those numbers as well. You need to know that if you're wanting to retire or take a vacation, you're going to need to save up some money at a certain point. All it is numbers. They're not going to eat you, so don't be afraid of them. Okay? So put your real estate hat on, and what numbers do you need to know? Oh, wait. I'm going to walk you through it. All right, so some of the numbers that we need to know for your life and for your business. The first, let me just hit this one. The first reason, or the number one reason, shall I say, that agents don't want to know or are afraid to monitor their numbers, accountability. We're adults. We're in business for ourselves. You don't need to tell me what to do. They're laughing because they know I'm hitting a nerve, okay? So accountability is probably the number one reason that agents don't like to or don't want to monitor their numbers. Because if you say you want to make $500,000 and you're only working an hour a day, numbers don't add up. Okay? If you tell me that you want to only work your database with, repeat and referral business, and you have 5 people in your database, and you want to do 10 transactions, numbers don't add up. 1 and 1 doesn't equal 20, unless you add another 0 in there somewhere. Okay? So mainly it's accountability. All right. Ignorance is not bliss when it comes to your numbers. Sticking your head in the sand and going, I don't want to hear this, I don't want to hear this, I don't want to know this. It's going to bite you into patoot. Okay, so what is it that you need to know? So let's take a peek at this. All right, so first off, here are some numbers that you may want to track, and we've got it written for you in the handout, which, by the way, is in Cardinal Nest if you haven't printed it out yet. Obviously, you've got your personal income and your finances. You need to know those numbers. You need to know what is the cost of doing business. You need to know what marketing your business is going to look like. You need to know your database numbers, and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty on these in a second. You also need to know your technology costs. Okay? If you do not have a laptop and you're still trying to lug around that big old, computer thing, you may want to consider what it's going to cost you to get a laptop, all right, or upgrade the one you've got. So technology costs, because this industry is very technology-driven, if you will, and you need to be able to function and learn how to use them. All right, so what are some of the costs of doing business? And if you take a look at page 3 of your handout, we actually have a breakdown for you. And look, I've even given you a chart so you can actually go and put the numbers in there and calculate it. So yay, yes, they're clapping, yes. All right, so first off, what are your realtor dues? That's kind of a given. What are your MLS dues? Do you need lock boxes? What do you need to budget for signs? Do you have central lock? Do you have CE continued education hours that you need to get that's going to cost you anything? You need to know that. You need to know about your domain name, what it's going to cost you every year to renew it and keep it going. Is there E&O? Oh, wait, you're with Samson. No, there isn't. Is there a monthly broker fee? Is there a desk fee? What is your cost for business cards? And do you need to pay for forms or the digital signatures? Now, do you need to pay for forms or digital signature with Samson? No. No. Answer is no. But is there that was a test, by the way. Okay, so those are some of the things in the cost of doing business that you just need to be aware of. Are there more? Probably, but this is, again, the 30,000-foot view. Okay? Excuse me. All right. So the next little category that we want to kind of monitor a bit is what is the cost of marketing and advertising? Now, if you don't have a previous year to look back on, here's a cheat sheet. Here's a couple things you can take a look at. Does it cost you to do property flyers? Okay, what does it cost you for just listed, just sold? Nothing, okay? Well, you can do one, and then open houses. If you're going to do an open house, can you get free postcards from Samson? Yes, you can. You guys ought to go next door and thank the people in the print shop, by the way, if you haven't had a chance to do that already, because they're wonderful over there. Okay? Do you have a monthly automated system? That's kind of your database. Okay? What do you budget for closing gifts? Do you have something specific that you get and give for closings? You need to calculate that in there as well. Do you want to use any of the booths from KV Core? If so, you need to know what they are and then kind of calculate, okay, so if I'm going to do 5 listings this year and or 55, I don't care, whatever your number is, and it's going to cost me X number of dollars for a boost, that equals that. This is basic math, people. This ain't geometry, this isn't trigonometry, this isn't calculus, this is 1 and 1, and what times what equals what. Okay, so this is everything you need to learn in basics. All right, client appreciation event. Are you one that is going to do a client appreciation event? Okay, and if you are still small enough in your database or in your client count that you're thinking, I'd love to, but I don't have enough yet, team up with another agent and do a co-one. Okay? You can do something as fun and simple as an ice cream party. You can do a pizza party. You can do movie nights. You can, I mean, just the possibilities are endless. Now, I know that there are some agents that do mega spreads. Kudos to them. But if you're not there yet, do not compare yourself to them and think, I can't afford that, therefore I'm not doing that. Okay? You can do cocktails at your place or cocktails at, a local, pub somewhere. Bloom where you're planted, work within the budget that you can handle. Okay? Now, Samson Smile Stops, AKA pop buys. Deb Gorham did a phenomenal class on pop buys and ideas to use. Again, we talked about everything for, $2 or $3 per smile stop. It's about a smile and a hug or a handshake, and that's all it is. So what is it that you need to do to kind of make that all happen? JD, can you check the monitor? Okay. Do you want to do pop buys? How many do you need to do? Okay, so I've got 300 in my database. I'm not going to do all 300 every month. So how many do I want to do a month? Maybe 10. If I'm just going to say $5 a piece, that's this amount of money. And so that could calculate over, you budget it in. Obviously, as your business grows and you get better and bigger, if you want to adjust the pricing on that price point, certainly. But it's not so much about the dollar value of the gift. It's just the intentions, the warm fuzzy. It's for a smile and a handshake. And hey, I was thinking of you. I was cutting up through this area and I just wanted to stop by and say hi. There you go. All right? No. The last one on this particular page and list is printing. Do you need to pay for copies? Do you need to occasionally have stuff that gets run off? Okay? Calculate that in, slightly as well. Now, if you've got a printer at home and you do your printing at home, do you need to calculate in, roughly, what it's going to cost you for paper and ink? And a little PS note on that, bonus. If you are going to be having a printer at home, always have a backup set of ink cartridges or whatever it is your machine uses. Because there's nothing worse than getting the phone call that you need to go in to do a buyer or seller consultation. You go to hit print and you're out of ink. And you're sitting there cussing up a storm because, you're stuck now. Always have a backup. Hello. Okay. All right. Any questions on that? We'll hold questions at the end. Sorry. All right. So here's the next one. Your database. Did I have this in here crooked? There we go. Okay, so there's your database. We want to talk about your database numbers. If you have listened to the Samson Jumpstart Session 3, we talk about how to break down your numbers into A or A pluses, B's, C's, D's. That's a Brian Buffini technique that we've all used for 100 years in this industry and all sales and marketing. All right, so know what they are. So I want to know, again, you can fill in the blanks here. How many are in your database right now, but what is your goal? If you've got 10 in there right now, but your goal is 200, great. How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? You break it down. If I do one a day, Monday through Friday, let's say 5 days a week, that's 5 a week, 20 a month, times how many weeks, or how many months in the year, there's your numbers real fast. But if you just look at the total number, you're going to go into freeze mode and not do anything. So don't let that happen to you. Break it down. Oh, I only need to add or talk to someone, once a day. Trust me, unless you're hiding in your house, you are seeing somebody during the course of your day, doing your errands, doing the whatever, and my guess, they have a roof over their head somewhere. Are they a potential buyer, renter? Do they need information that you've got? Whatever it is, be open and aware to it. All right? Then I'm going to ask you, just like we've talked about in that breaking down of your database, how many A's do you have? A's are past clients and referral sources. How many B's do you have? How many C's do you have? How many D's do you have? I don't care what the number is. We need to know what they are. Because if you're going to come to me and say, Lynn, I want to build and do repeat and referral, great. And you've got 10 in your database, and they're all C's and D's, and you're telling me you want to do 15 transactions, the numbers don't add up. We need to have an alternative option for bringing in the business. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. Okay, which is why we talk about in Samson Jumpstart Session 4 about the 4 pillars and why it's important to have 4 avenue streams of income coming in. Okay, know your numbers. Know in your database how many of those are renters and how many are homeowners. Because you want to make sure you're sending the right message to the right target. Quit throwing Jell-O on the wall and hoping that it's going to stick, and stop sending the wrong message to the wrong target and wondering why you're not getting any results. Okay? So that's pretty easy, right? Give me a thumbs up. Easy, easy peasy. Okay? Let's go on to the next one. Technology and the cost and the maintenance of technology as well. Do you need to have a laptop, I can talk, I know I can, a laptop or computer or printer at your house? Makes life easier, okay? Do you need to have printing supplies? Paper, ink? Yes. Makes life easier. Do you need to have a cell phone in this business? Yes, yes you do, okay? And are there vehicle expenses? Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so just know that those are some of the categories that you need to be able to track and to monitor. Now, trick question, when are taxes due? April 15th is the tax deadline. Now, side note, you know me, I like my little story time with y'all. This is the joke of the day. You're gonna laugh. Oh, this is funny, all right? So what are the 2 major events in the world that have happened on April 14th and April 15th? Well, okay, her birthday. What else? Okay, give up? All right, the Titanic hit the iceberg on the 14th, sunk on the 15th. Abraham Lincoln got shot on the 14th, passed away on the 15th. So, and you just thought it was taxes. So, there you go. That's a great trivia question for the day. You may win $50,000, and then you have to split it with me. All right? Know when your taxes are due. It's like Christmas. We all know when it is. We know when our birthday is. April 15th should not roll around and you be surprised. I'm just saying. Just saying. All right, so here is my disclaimer. Loud and clear. Each person's tax obligations are different. You need to be sure to contact your trusted tax advisor for specific information on your individual situation for guidance and advice. This is a 30,000-foot general rule of thumb. Be sure to talk to your tax person, because do tax laws change? Yes. Okay. They keep up with it. I don't need to keep up with it. I just need to keep up with a good tax person. Okay? So just want to make sure we had got that out there loud and clear. Make sure you're asking the right source for the tax advice that you need, because they can look at your whole portfolio, your whole package, and guide you appropriately. All right? You're not going to talk to the mechanic about your taxes, or you shouldn't anyway. Okay? All right, so here's some more suggestions. It is, in my opinion, important that as you are prepping out your personal and your business finances, that there's personal and business in 2 accounts. Okay? Be the same bank, but 2 accounts. All of the experts have always taught, have your checking and your savings, and your checking and your savings. Now, it is also recommended that you have a business credit card that's used solely and only for business. Whether you put your renewal, your board stuff on there for automatic, repay, or every year, quarter, whatever it comes up. That way you know, A, it's going to get paid on time, but also 2, you're not going to get the late fees that go with it. And when it comes time for taxes, anything and everything that's on that card are all part of your business expenses. You can monitor it easier, and it'll help you with getting your taxes done. Okay? So that's my recommendation. If you don't, let me see who. Okay, I won't ask that in public. I would say who does and who doesn't have that. So if you don't, I would suggest that maybe that be something you do over the holidays, is go ahead and get that prepped and get that started. It'll make life a whole lot easier. Okay? So here are some suggestions of business expenses for you. And again, this is a 30,000-foot view. This is not, all the little nitty-gritty, but it's going to at least give you some. Obviously, the cost of getting your license, fingerprints, the cost of testing, the cost of, state licensing, whatever it was, your local board dues, all those fees, those are all deductible for you. So when you go in to have your taxes done, you should have that number, and then let your tax person pull what they need based off of where you're at. Okay? Your MLS, that is also deductible, because you have to have that in order to do real estate. Now, if you're working at, the corner 7-Eleven, do you need that for that job? No, it is specific to real estate, and if it is specific for real estate, it becomes tax deductible for you. Okay? All right. Even going as far, and again, this is where I would say ask your tax person. If you buy a bunch of shirts with the company logo on it, is that tax deductible for you? In most times, in general, yes, it is. Because you could not go to another company and wear that shirt branding Samson if you're stupid enough to ever leave and go to another company. Hear my heart, forgive my mouth, sorry I didn't warn you. But it is industry specific. It is company specific, okay? So when those things, just ask, have the number and then ask your tax person. Business cards, deductible, yes. Headshots every 5 years, not the 1980 glamour shot or your high school 20-year reunion, high school 20-year picture ago. Yeah, they should be done every 5 years, by the way. And if you don't look the same, get it redone. Just saying. Your domain name, what the little fee is for your domain, is that deductible? Yes, it is. Nod your head this way. That way when it falls off, you can catch it. There we go. Copies, office fees, cell phone, car expenses, those are all things that are potentially deductible for you. So make sure that when you go in to get your taxes done, you've got those numbers, because it's also going to help you in planning. If you've made, I'm just going to make up a silly number for the example. If you're telling me you want to make an extra $20,000, but yet you made the $20,000 but have $10,000 of expenses, did you make 20? No, you only made 10. So you need to take a look. That's why when we talk about business planning, we're going to ask, what does it cost to do business? What is your cost of business? And most agents go, I don't know. Now you know. You can calculate it down. All right. Another thing that you're going to probably need to pay, state and local federal taxes, marketing yourself, and advertising listings. Okay, so those are all things that go into that mix as well. Now, I was giving a basic on this class, and somebody told me about this website. Apparently, the EFTPS, it stands for the Electronic Federal Tax Payment System. You can go in, you put in what your commission check was, it will give you a calculation of what you should be paying for taxes, and you can pay as you go. Okay? Again, talk to your tax advisor, get specifics, but I did talk to a couple of agents. They say they use this. That way they never get in the, OMG, I now owe $20,000 in taxes because I've not filed, I've not done quarterly, where am I going to get that? Okay, so check that out. Ask your tax advisor if that is something that is suitable for you. Now, here comes the question about how do you track? And I'm going to give you a quick example, and then I'm going to cut over to my Excel spreadsheet so you can see it live and in person. All right, so the general rule of thumb is, and I know some of you are going to cringe on this one, whatever your commission is, your paycheck is 50% of it. Now, common mistake that agents make. Hear my heart, forgive my mouth, because it's going to come. You got a $10,000 check coming in, and you just went and spent 15. They're laughing and shaking their head, because I think some of them have done it. Just kidding, okay? Seen it happen all the time. So they don't put money aside for taxes, and then all of a sudden they've got no money to operate on, no money for, renewals of things, and they're in trouble. So don't let that happen to you. All right. So with that, 30% is suggested, and again, work the numbers if you don't like them. 30% for operating your business. 15% goes into taxes. Now somebody may say, but I'm at a 20 or 25% tax, whatever it is. That can be adjusted in your calculation, but don't forget, you've got your income, your deductions, and then your tax obligation. Talk to your tax advisor for specific guidance on your situation. Then 5% for profit and extra savings, and I'm going to show you how to break that down. Now, has anybody ever heard that before? No. Okay. I've heard it for years, and you've used it for years. So if you flip over to page 6 of your handout, I have a basic calculation there for you to see. I'm going to get my little mouse up here. It's the 50, 30, 15, and 5, but then that 5% profit is divided in half, so part goes into a bonus category and part goes into an extra savings category. All right, this will generally keep you out of hot water. If you are wanting to create an Excel spreadsheet to do this, I'm going to log out or bounce out of my PowerPoint. I'm going to go over to my Excel sheet and I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, if you are really stumped, let me know. I'll show you. All right, so basic Excel spreadsheet. I got the income and I put it in as 50%. Next category was, or the first one's commission. The income is 50% of whatever that commission is. The operating cost is the 30%. Then the next category is taxes. Next category is the 5% profit. And then that 5% profit is broken down into half of it for a bonus, half of it for extra savings. With me so far? Okay, don't lose me. How you set the formula to calculate that is when you click on a box, you can put the formula in. I'm going to go back up to this one. Your formula, and I've got it here on the handout, will look something like this. Now, what I will tell you on the handout, I've got the parentheses there. I think you can do it without the parentheses. So you would go, say for that box, what I want is that box to equal the number that is in A2, don't lose me, times, which is the star, 50%. And it will calculate that number into that category. I go over to the next one, and all you have to do is the first row, because then I'll show you how to drag it and drop it. Okay? Next category over is I want to take the number that's in A2, so I'm going to say what's going to go into this one is going to be equal A2 times 30%. And that's going to give me 30% of that number that is in column A2. You with me? Okay. Next column over is the taxes. We want to calculate, for this example, the 15%. So it would look like, let's see if I can get my arrow up there for you. It says that number is going to equal the number that's in A2 times 15%. Next one over, same thing. We're going to put it there. It's the number that's going to populate into that box is going to be it's going to equal what's in the A2 times, which is the star, 5%, which is basically half. And then we do the same thing for savings. Okay? I'm getting some, everybody with me? Okay. So once you have it done, I'm just going to go ahead and put my next little row of number in. Now, since I know that each of these numbers are going to be dollar amounts, I would go up here to my A. I'm going to drag over, and then here where my little bright arrow is pointing at the dollar sign. Once you click on the dollar sign, it's going to convert all of that into money. Easy breezy? You with me? Okay. All right, so for the $15,000 commission, but I don't want to have to go back through and go A4, because now that's where we're at. I'm going to go up to the row ahead. I'm going to grab the corner of it. I'm going to drag it down, and it will take the formula and automatically calculate out for you. Can we all say wow? Wow. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, again, we're going to do the same thing here. And you can drag it down as far as you want to go. Because if you know you got multiples coming in, you can just drag it right down. But once you got the formula in there, sometimes it takes a little to get it just right. Grab it, pull it down, and it's going to calculate that all out for you. Come on, don't do that. Come on, back up there. Drag, there you go, there you go. All right, now, boom, there you be. Now, what I did for this other column over here, because I wanted to make sure that it was calculating correctly, that I didn't mess it up. So I looked into here and said, okay, equals B2 to E2. Yeah, same row, E2. So it's going to take the number that's in B, C, D, and E and calculate it over. So I can look at 10,000, yes, 10,000. So now I know it calculated it correctly. Once you have done that, and again, you do not want to put F and G in there because you've already got F and G calculated into column E. So let's say you want to say, but I want to see the total of each column. Watch this. Say, I know enough to be dangerous. You're going to click on this first one. You're going to just drag it down and highlight it. Go up here to this funny little sign. Y'all see it? And that is auto sum. There you have it. Next column over, same thing. I'm going to drag and drop it down. Auto sum, there you go. So my commissions have been $37,500 so far. My actual income, if you will, is $18,750. My operating costs, again, we're going to drag and drop down. So far, the 30% should be 11. Is that right? Taxes, whoops, come on, get back up there. Taxes, drag it down. There you go. Drag it down and highlight it, auto sum it. Now, here was the recommendation on the bonus and the savings. Now, what some will do is they will let that savings build up for car repairs, or they'll let that savings build up for vacation or whatever. But the 5% bonus, they would take it and let it accumulate up, and they would pay themselves a bonus every quarter. That way, if they had a slow month and they needed that, they knew it was there. Okay? So it's not making 10 and spending 12. Because the month that comes that you don't have anything, you're going, uh-oh, I'm in trouble now. Because in the next month, maybe 2 or 3 or what, you know, and you balance back and forth. Does that kind of make sense? Do you get the concept of it? Excellent. Okay. I'm going to close that little puppy down. We're going to go back to this slide show from current slide. There you go. All right. Let me move that over, get my clicker back. That is basic numbers in Excel. I am certainly no whiz kid at Excel, but I know enough to be dangerous, and I know enough how to make it calculate, add the number, add the dollar sign in there, do an auto sum, and enough in the basic formulas. And you can even Google, if you forget, you can Google how to do formulas. The equal, the box that the information is going to come from, then the asterisk equal, it tells the system what it wants you to do with that number, whether it's an add, subtract, multiply, or divide, and then to what other number, okay? And then that's the answer to that, or the result of that, is what's going to populate in that box that you put the formula in, okay? I'm seeing some heads go like this. We good? All right, perfect. Boom, that was a little bonus for you. All right, so the next thing we want to talk about is your hours. We need to track your hours. Believe it or not, I need to know, you need to know, how many hours are you spending on working on your business and in your business? And what are your business hours? Okay, if you have no transactions on the books right now, you should be laser focused on a certain number of hours working on your business and then in your business. What session do we talk about that in? Samson Jumpstart Session 4. Okay, the difference between working on your business and in your business. In fact, I would challenge you all to go back into that handout, take that one page, because it's got the cute little hats, print that sucker out, put it on, print it in color, and have it up on your board next to you where you're working. I would have it in your 3-ring binder, because that is going to help keep you on track. Is, okay, am I working on my business? Because if you ain't getting business, you ain't working on the first part. Just so y'all know. Boom. There you go. So that is another important piece of the puzzle. Know your hours, know how many hours you're committed to working on your business and in your business. All right, we good so far? Good so far. All right, so also on page 6, your marketing stats. You need to know the numbers that are going on in the market. So let's say you've got a geo farm that you're wanting to, kind of work in your neighborhood. And again, this takes just minutes to do. Go into your MLS, run a search of how many properties have sold in the last 30 days. How many properties have gotten listed in the last 30 days? What is the average days on market? Are they going up or are they going down? What is the price range, the high, medium, and low, for that area? And what is the year-to-date comparison? It brings it all up for you. Here's what happens, is agents get scared about this information, and it is so easy to pull, literally less than 5 minutes. You're talking to somebody, you don't know what to say, because what do they always want to know? How's the market? Okay? How's the market depends on the area. Okay? So the area that I keep a close eye on, what I'm finding is properties are still selling. Average days on market is now at, I'm just going to make this up, 18 days on the market, which is, again, a normal, healthy market. And price range is, is still staying, stable. Yes, interest rates are fluctuating, but so does our blood pressure, so it's no big deal. Okay? The real estate market is not falling apart. Do people still need to have a roof over their head? Yes, they do. And when their home no longer meets their needs, what's going to happen? They will need to sell. Okay, and hopefully you've stayed top of mind with good information to them, and you'll get the phone call. Okay? All right, so those are some of the numbers that you need to know about of what's going on in your market area. And look, I've even given you a chart to map it out on. Can you all say thank you? Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, so the next one that we need to talk about, again, this is going to stay with me because it's going to get a little complicated a little bit, but I want to make this point. It's a benefit to know and determine what is the high, medium, and low price point of a specific area. Now, I've been out here for several years and I've heard nobody talk about this yet. And yet, I've been doing this for years. So, listen carefully, follow along with me. I'm going to map this out for you. So if you want to find out what is the average, the high, medium, and low of a specific area, and I'm just going to use round numbers for the calculation of this, you're going to go into your MLS, bring up your zip code, bring up the community, bring up the whatever it is you want to compare. Let's say for this example, you come up with 100 homes. Okay? The top 20%, yes, you may need to get a calculator out to determine, because they're not all going to be round numbers. So your top 20 of the 100, that's an easy calculation, 20% or 20 homes, that is your high point. So you would then look over on the price, the listing price or the sold price, and let's say, for example, I've given you the example to kind of follow along, that this particular area came in between 350 and 850,000. So the top 20 for the example were 850,000 to 700,000. That is the top of the market in that area. Okay? Keep the heads nodding so I know you got me and you're with me. All right, so you take those off, then the next 30 or 30% of however many you have, that is the upper mid-range. For this example, the next 30 range comes in at 700,000 to 525. So that is the upper mid-range. Take those away. The next 30 gets calculated, and again, for this example, they're going to come in at 525 to 435. That is your starter price or entry level of that area. Okay, I'm seeing some heads going. We getting this? All right. Then the bottom 20%, or the bottom 20, that is kind of the starter or the fixer-uppers in that neighborhood. So keep that in mind. And again, I rounded the numbers up into an even number because it was easier to calculate. But most of the time, obviously it's going to be 127. And now you need to calculate. Now, sometimes you're going to get a couple that are going to kind of, wonky doodle at maybe 21, and then there's a big jump for the next price point down. Okay, it's okay. Include them in the price bubble that they're closest to. All right. Why is this important? And what information are you able to gain from that? If you get into conversation with somebody and they want to know, I'm interested in this zip code, and you know what that zip code looks like, and you know their qualification is at one point, they may not be able to have their dream home as their first home in that area. Now, has that ever come into play where that's been needed? Absolutely. Again, you know me, I love my story time. I had a client, we're going to call her Susie. She told me she wanted in a particular zip code. She was pre-approved. Again, I'm just kind of making this number up for the example. It was 295 to 325, and I knew immediately that those areas in the wants and needs assessment that we did in the buyer consultation was not in that price point. I didn't say anything. I said, well, okay, let me take a look to see what's currently happening in those areas. I knew immediately, but I kept my mouth shut. I went back to my computer, calculated that out, and said, okay, we got a problem. I didn't tell her we had a problem. I just reworded it a little bit better. I said, let me show you what my research has found. For this area and this zip code, this is the high, medium, and low. For this is the high, medium, and low. For this one, this is the high, medium, and low. Even the low was not in her range. Poor Susie. So I said, so what do you think? Now, she could have told me I can borrow $200,000 from my grandparents. That would have changed everything. But that wasn't the case. She was a single lady wanting to buy her first home. So I reminded her that we were buying her first home, not her luxury dream home. She could turn it into her luxury dream home by obviously decorating it to the nine, because I knew she had a flair and a taste. So, but what it gave me was the talking points and the reality check of what those areas, the high, medium, and low of those areas were. She did not want a fixer-upper. So even at the low price point, which was close to where she wanted to be, they were dumps. I looked at them. Okay. So that is why knowing that, or knowing how to do it, comes in handy and comes in valuable. It lets you know those numbers for that area. Do it for your own neighborhood, and look at the bottom of page 7. I have a chart for you. So you can, and I would encourage you and challenge you to go do it, just to work it as an exercise so that you'll know exactly how to do it, so that when you need to do it, you can do it. We good? All right. Now, what are some of the other numbers that we need to know as we're putting these pieces of the puzzle together? Well, Zillow says my house is worth this. You know, if we ever turned that into a drinking game, we'd all be drunk, like all the time. Because we know that's not accurate. So in your, in a couple of the classes I've done, I've actually had this in there as a sample. It's also part of your seller consultation packet as well. I always had this sheet printed out, and I would, before I went and did a listing consultation, I would double check. What did Zillow say? What did Redfin say? What did Realtor.com say? And what did eAppraisal say? Okay? So, and I had my little folder, my little briefcase thing that I had with me, where I had my notes and stuff I was going to be taking. So if they ever said, well, Zillow said this. Well, guess what? I did my homework too, and here's what I found out. Okay? So, do we want to underprice or overprice your property? Which do you prefer? Well, neither. I want it priced right. Then, okay, then that's why you got me. What I want you to do for fun is to pick an address, any address. Pick yours. Go to these 4 sites and see what they have to say. Now, hear my heart, forgive my mouth. I can't believe I'm going to actually ask you to do this. Go to your website. There's a tab on there that says seller. Get your home estimation or evaluation. See what it has to say. See how close it is. You need to know those numbers. Because again, if you're going to go talk to someone, you need to know whether those numbers, you need to be able to justify what your recommendation is. You've heard me say this before. I am always cringe when someone says, well, I'm just going to go online, or I went online and they said this was my house value. Let's play a little game. We all live in the same neighborhood. We all have the same floor plan. Same number of bedrooms, same number of bathrooms, same square footage, same lot size, the whole bit. Now, this group over here on this side of the room have done upgrades over the last 10 years of their house. It is beautiful. All appliances upgraded, kitchens upgraded, bathrooms upgraded, whatever. I mean, all the bells and whistles, okay? Now, this side over here, we're just going to pretend because I know it's not true. We haven't done diddly squat to ours, and I've actually let mine fall apart. Yeah. So somebody's going to come in, give a realtor, is going to come in and say, your home value is $525,000. Well, top mark Yours may be 525. This group may be 475 to 500, and mine may be like $50,000 less because I haven't done anything to mine. Okay, and the carpet's worn, the paint's worn, and everything else, and yours is all polished up. This is my personal. If you are going to give an off-the-cuff estimate or guesstimate, refer to it as a guesstimate. It is the mix between a guess and an estimate, because the minute you tell them their home is worth $550, $525, but in this market you can get $550 for them, and you come to my house, not true, but you come to my house and find out that it's a piece of you-know-what that's not been upgraded or anything, now you got to backpedal. You got to get the egg off your face and justify to me why you told me my house was going to go for $50,000 more than what now you're seeing and know you can't get. Can we all say ouch? Ouch. Okay? Please don't do that. Okay? If you're going to give a guesstimate, it's like the fruit bowl. You need to be able to compare an apple to an apple, a raisin to a raisin, and a watermelon to a watermelon. Let them know that it is a guesstimate, and until such time you are able to see their, and what you take into consideration, that it is the property location, the amenities, and then the condition of the amenities could increase or decrease the value, you can only give them a guesstimate until such time you've actually seen the property. Is that a better way to do it? Okay, because they say the minute you walk in and go, oh shoot, and you got to backpedal, and you got to get the egg off your face, and the mud off your shoes, and anything else that's got to get cleaned up, you've just lost credibility with them. Because, well, wait a minute, you said it was $525, but you could get $550. Now you're telling me it's only $450. Why? Because you can't tell them the property looks like you know what. You can't. Well. You can. All right. There you go. All right. All right. So you know me and my funny stories. So here's another one for you. Okay. Years ago, I had a client. I knew her from the school district. Her husband had passed, and she had been caregiver for several years and was just like, I'm done. You know, she was just exhausted to the nine. And she says, I know my house is beat up. I don't care. I don't want to do any repairs to it. I just make it go away. Because she was going to buy a very nice manufactured home. Her sister was going to be next to her in the one next door, so they could live out their, their last 10 years or whatever. And so I went down, and yeah, it needed some major TLC. So I knew it was going to be a fixer. So I got a hold of one of the agents at the office who had an investor that loved picking those up. And I said, hey, Tim, I got a listing coming up that might be right for your client. You want to take a look at it? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. I said, I will warn you. Hear my heart, forgive my mouth. I said, Tim, it is a complete diamond in the rough, ready for a complete facelift and makeover. He's okay. He gets to the house, calls me back, and he goes, Lynn, it's a piece of shit. I said, Tim, I know. I said, but that's what I told you. And he laughed, paused for a minute, and they laughed. He goes, I said, I told you it was a diamond in the rough, ready for a complete facelift and makeover. And he laughed. Now, I wouldn't recommend saying this to anybody else. I knew him long enough and well enough. I said, and I've seen your wife, and I know you know exactly what that means. Now, I wouldn't suggest you using that on anybody or normal, but oh my God, it was funny. We had a good laugh. He goes, you're right. I said, all right. So he went and he goes, yeah, I think my client's going to want it. And I said, okay, let me know. They did. They came in at an offer because I had priced it appropriately for the condition that it was in. Came in with a full price offer, got it. I said, all right, then I get to do open houses when it goes back on the market because I knew other people in the neighborhood. So when was I able to do the open house on that one? Halloween. I did a Halloween open house trick or treat. I ain't no dummy. And I promoted it as such, and all the parents brought the kids by. Mm-hmm. There you go. Think outside the box. Okay, so you've got to know what the market and the other sources out there are saying about the price point in the homes. So again, this is just nothing more than knowing your numbers. Okay? All right, so what comes next? Woo hoo 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 hoo. All right, grab out a pencil and paper. Flip over to page 9 of your handout. How many of you have ever worked another job anywhere? What do they do at least once or twice a year? Performance appraisal. It's now time for you to do your own performance appraisal. Can we all just go, real quick? All right. So here's how I want you to do this. On page 9, and yep, on page 9, we go from, how would you rate yourself? I want you to say either yes or no. Yes, yes, are you doing it? No, I'm not doing it. I know about it, but I'm not doing it. Or then on the column of 1 to 10, how well are you doing it? All right, so we're just going to go through a quick rundown. And if you're online with us, we're going to do it together. All right, so the first one, do you have a business email that's different from your personal account? Yes, no, scale of 1 to 10. If you got it and you use it, give it a 10. Have you set up a new email signature line at the bottom that has a link in connecting to your website? Yes, no, scale of 1 to 10. When was the last time you updated your voicemail message? Does it say what company you're with? Please tell me it's current. Okay. Whew. All right. Do you have an updated bio available, and is it on the website? Yes, no, scale of 1 to 10. Do you have a mission statement? If you tell me no, I'm going to go cry. Because if any of you have gone through Samson Jumpstart, you know I've drilled it into your head. Sessions 1, 2, 3, 150. Okay? Your best mission statement, I've laid it out in lavender for you. So if I find out you don't, I'm going to cry. Oh, I'm going to do one better. I'm going to tell Santa on you. There you go, nanner, nanner. Okay, fine. Moving right along. So you have your mission statement. Have you determined what your big why is? Why are you in this business? Why are you wanting to do this? Okay. And if you need to go back, page 1 or 2 of Samson Jumpstart session 1, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty on that one. Do you have business cards and a name badge? Yes, no, scale of 1 to 10. And do you wear the friggin' name badge? Oops, I should have warned you, sorry. Okay. Miss Katie's got hers on. All right. Have you updated all your social media? Facebook, Zillow, Realtor.com, Google your name, see what comes up. Have you done that and have checked your online presentation? Okay. Have you completed a goal board, a vision board? Yes, no, scale of 1 to 10. I found out Steve Harvey, he still has one. He does it every year. His whole team does one. Who knew? There you go. If it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. Do you have your database ready? Okay, yes, no, scale of 1 to 10. How would you rate yourself? Do you have your unique selling proposition? That kind of goes into your mission statement and your tagline. So I'd really, again, you don't have it, I'm going to cry. Have you set up your workspace at home or in the office? We talked about that in session 2 of Samson Jumpstart, I do believe. Have you set up your little notebook for taking notes so they're all in one place? That was part of Samson Jumpstart session 1, I believe is where that came from. Do you understand time blocking versus time management? Yes, no, scale of 1 to 10. Have you determined your 4 marketing systems, your avenues of income? Samson Jumpstart, session 4. Have you set up the Zoom or GoToMeeting free platform? I'm hearing some moans and groans. Okay. But do you understand why you need to have it? Okay. Then do it. Okay, have you determined your office hours? Ooh. And have you set up your daily tasks and set aside prospecting time? If you say, okay, I'm only part-time, I'm going to work from 9 to 1, great. I can do my prospecting time from, I need to get in, kind of get going, get settled. So my prospecting time is going to be from 9:30 to 10:30, because if Lynn's doing a class at 11, I don't want to miss it. Do you have that blocked off? Okay. All right. Do you have your daily notes, calls, text to your sphere of influence time blocked off to do that? What time do you do it? Okay. Do you have your buyer consultation book set up? Have you done a dry run with another agent? Can your dog or your cat repeat it because they've heard it so many times they want to throw a hairball up? For those with cats, they understand that. Okay. Do you have your seller consultation book up and done? Do you have one at the ready? Do you have a renter's consultation book? I know we haven't done that class completely, but I've got one. Okay. Have you set up a meeting with your broker to go through your business plan, or at least show them what you've got mapped out? I'm seeing heads go like this way, that way. When it falls off, you can catch it. Okay. Scale of 1 to 10. Do you have a QR code? Okay. Do you know the benefit of it? Have you tested it? Do you make sure that it links to your website? Okay. Have you ever gone through and color coded a week at a glance? Now, if you're using a calendar, there's color coding that you can add in there, but mainly, do you understand why we ask you to do that? Okay. Color code your calendar. We used to have to do it with pencils. You know, we'd have it written out and we'd go through and color code it. Yeah, don't need that anymore. Now, if if you still like pencil and paper, I'm good with that. If you want to do it on a napkin, I'm good with that. I'll even buy you the colored pencils or crayons or a lip liner, whatever you want. Lipstick works too. But if you're using your electronic one, then you can drop a color into something really quick. All right. Have you ever tracked, again, just for a week or two, every 15-minute time block to obviously see where your time is going, but also once you are in the middle of a transaction or starting a transaction, one of the challenges is to track every 15 minutes that you spend actually working on that transaction or with that client. All you have to do is every once in a while. It is an eye-opener. Okay? Have you started your B2B, business-to-business networking of vendors? Is that something you want to do? Yes, no, and if you are, how would you rate yourself on it, scale of 1 to 10? Where did we talk about that if you've missed it? Samson Jumpstart, session 3, building out your database. There's 4 categories in your database, and one of them is transaction partners and service providers. We talked about the why. We talked about how to find good service providers. Oh, wait, that would require you getting on the phone, texting, or emailing your sphere of people that you know and asking, hey, who would you use? Who have you used that you would use again or you would recommend? All right, that's all mapped out for you in that session. Do you have written affirmations? Yes, no, scale of 1 to 10. If I asked you, or if I called you and say, hey, read me your affirmations, could you do it off the top of your head? You need to. You need to know what they are. You need to have those be able to roll out of your mouth. All right. Do you have a free newsletter set up? Don't tell me you don't have the budget, you don't have the money, because I said free. There are multiple options. If you don't and don't know what to do with it, refer back to Samson University, where the class we did on leveraging free reports, free newsletters, and your free website, and how they all link in and come together. Okay? Do you have an Excel spreadsheet set up to calculate your withholdings for your taxes? No, because you just learned about that 5 minutes ago. Okay? But if that's something that you want to do, put a star in there, because you need to know your numbers. All right? Now, is that everything? No. But it gives you a chance to go, ow. It gives you a chance to duck my foot coming at your patoot, okay? Or dodge it. Hey, all those years of dancing when I was younger still pay off. I could still swing a good one if I need to. All right? So know that that comes with love, though. Know that I am probably one of your biggest cheerleaders. And oh yeah, thank you. And I want to make sure that you are doing the best that you can. Not necessarily working more hours. Now, sometimes we do need to get into working more hours. But is the time that you're committed and devoted to you building your business, are you actually building it out? Okay? All right, before we wrap up, I've got one more thing I want to go through with you, but I want to make sure that everybody who is here has a puzzle piece that they've put their name on the back of, because we have our little drawing, you know me. So, Alan, can you come help me? Oh, don't trust that. Yeah, I need to make sure I don't have names on some of these. Okay, can you make sure if you have not, where's my lid?
Who needs one?
Okay, if you'll put them in their lid and then bring them back to me. Awesome. There we go. Okay. So as we're taking care of the fun in class, I just want to remind you, there's a lot of numbers that we need to know about for our business. You know, it doesn't serve us well to fly by the seat of our pants, but that's what a lot of agents do. And hopefully when you break this down and go back and listen to it again, you're going to go, okay, how am I doing on that? How do I rate myself? Am I doing okay? Am I doing okay? Am I doing okay? So, and again, performance appraisals can sting every once in a while, but you get to do it to yourself because guess what? You're your own boss. And I love it that we always say the good news is you're your own boss. Bad news is you have an idiot for a boss. Y'all said I could be blunt and honest. So there. Not always, I'm kidding. But you do. Sometimes that's the advantage. Thank you. That's the advantage and the disadvantage. You can throw those back in there. These are the ones I've already got. Let's dump these in here. Boom, da da boom. Okay, so know that it's not calculus, it's not trig, it's not, geometry, it's just good old basic numbers. And what are the numbers that you need to know, okay? So, couple quick reminders. Some of the things that we need to make sure that we are staying on point with is our sales meetings. And you're going to hear that from me more often because I'm an absolute firm believer that we are missing valuable information by not listening in or attending the sales meetings. Now, yes, they're in various locations. Can you get to all of them? No, not always. I get it. But they're streamed live. They're on replay. There is, in my opinion, hear my heart, forgive my mouth, because it's coming, no excuse whatsoever that any agent in this company that's actually committed to their business should ever miss listening to one. Because there is some powerful and some good information in there about what's coming from title, what's coming from the lenders. Oh my gosh, if you missed the last sales meeting, you better go back and listen to it because there was an aha, drop the jaw, drop the mic program that was announced that First Heritage is doing. If you've missed it, go back and listen to it. I'm not going to tell you. There you have it, all right? So, but please do listen to those. And as I've said, and I know Donnie's going to kill me if he ever hears me say this, but if you need to, fast forward past the opening stuff, get into the meat and potatoes, and then fast forward past the dessert at the end, okay? It's what's in the middle that, again, when I did one in class one time and asked agents if they knew about Curbio, if they knew about this, if they knew about that, and they're all going, no. It all been being discussed at sales meeting. Hello? There we go. All right. What are some of the other great things that are out there and available for you? First off, Mastermind. David does a phenomenal mastermind. They're on the calendar. They're available in Cardinal Nest. Go check them out. It's just great conversation. Sometimes it's the inspiration. Sometimes it's just the motivation that you need. So go check them out and see what's available there as well. The other one, Coffee with Casey. Again, another brilliant mind that is bringing value and information and technique and ideas and insight to our agents. And again, you can do it while you're cleaning the house. You can do it while you're folding laundry for all I care. All right? Or while you're driving because you can't connect your phone to your car. But know that those are available as well. It is good information. So definitely chime in with those as well. All righty. Our last piece of the puzzle for the day is, what is the book that's on my bookshelf? I've often been asked, what are the books that have given me those aha moments throughout my career? And this was one that I really enjoyed, was the 25 most common sales mistakes and how to avoid them. And on your handout, page 10, I've listed the highlights of the chapters for you. Again, I've got no skin in the game on any of these, so you can find them on Amazon or wherever you choose to find your books. But go check it out. Sometimes, too, I haven't looked this one up. Check YouTube, because I know there's a lot that are showing up on YouTube, the audio version, so you can listen to them in the car. Just saying. But this was a good one that I really enjoyed as well. And obviously, a couple on there is not being obsessed, not listening to the prospect, not keeping track of past clients, not taking pride in your work. It's not so much you guys. Not keeping up to date on what's going on, as in missing the sales meeting and some of the other stuff where valuable information is being brought to you. Boom. Sometimes you focus on the negative. Now, for those that have been interacting with me lately, and thank you for letting me do it, once the negative comes out, I'll stop you. Say we're going to rephrase that. I don't have to go do this listing appointment. I get to clean the house because I have a house to clean. I am blessed that I have a house to clean. I could be living on the streets. I could be living in my car. I have laundry to do. Yeah, am I excited over it? No, but I like the end result of clean clothes. And I'm pleased that I have clothes to wash. I am pleased that I have a washer and dryer in my house. I am pleased that I don't have to go clean them on a rock down at the riverbed and then hang them to dry. Yeah. But be grateful for what you've got and watch what comes out of your mouth. Okay? So that was just an extra one to throw in there. And again, it was just a good book that I thoroughly enjoyed. So with that, let's go ahead and say, you know what? There you have it. Drop the mic, bam. All right? We're going to get into the aha takeaways in just a minute, so I'm going to have our mic grab for us. Remember, your database is full of gems. If you don't work it and nurture it, somebody else will. Be the Uncola. Do what other agents will not do. Think outside the box. And remember, I don't care what you know. I want to know what you're doing with what you know. So that leads us into our aha takeaway moment. So we're going to start over here. Pass the mic. You're up. Aha takeaway.
I'm ready. I got two.
Okay.
And the first one I'm going to say, I think, was the last one that I got, and that was that diamond in the rough. And why that's an aha for me, I normally do commercial, but I have a residential property I need to list. It's in Florida. Mm-hmm. And it is exactly a diamond in the rough. And I was racking my brain, how do I market this? I love that.
Ready for a complete facelift and makeover.
Because the house is, so the owner of the house has owned it for about 20 years. Mm-hmm. He's never fixed anything, never replaced the roof. He had trees growing on his roof.
Oh, wow.
From the oak
That's
tree.
worse than mine.
And then that created a hole in the roof, and he's gone through hurricanes and all kinds of, and it's water running, and it's terrible. So it's like, okay, how do we get the highest and best price for this? And anyway, so I'm going to use that for marketing.
Good.
The other aha was, let's see. I have to write stuff because I'm old and my brain doesn't hold anything but water. Let's see. Where did I write that? I think it was a question. You know, it's weird because I wrote aha. Let me just start from the beginning. There's the one. Oh, it was three. The other one, the sales meetings. You know, I go to the one, but it's important to think. Here's one thing I always talk about in business. It's the stuff that we don't know that causes our deals not to close.
Yep.
And it's what we miss in those. I mean, you might go to a sales meeting. I knew all of that. Okay. But
fine.
That thing that you miss, how do I do this later? So I'm going to pass this to someone else till I find that other aha.
Okay. Sounds good. Awesome. Thank you. Next to you. Yeah.
So I'm new to the business, so my greatest takeaway from this is the Excel sheet that you gave on managing the money, because I've been doing it in my head, and that doesn't really last for long. So super excited about that.
Very good. Very good.
So I have two aha/takeaway moments. The first one is the bonus of the EFTPS.gov website to figure out the taxes.
Okay.
And my other one is how to determine an area's average market price and going through the top 20, 30, and all that down the road.
Good, good, thank you.
I know that the market stats are important, but it's something that I really haven't dealt in, figured out how to do. So that is one that hopefully I'll be able to get better at. And then, sorry.
Lots of notes, that's good, I love it.
I'm not real good at Excel, so on my 2023 goal list, it's to learn and to master Excel.
Yeah, and that becomes part of your affirmations. I am going to learn something new this week about Excel. One little piece at a time. What's the one thing you can tackle this week? Excellent, thank you.
My aha takeaways for this class were really, I don't want to say simple, but I have a spreadsheet going already for my expenses and stuff like that, but it's different than this one
Okay.
that you've provided, and I really like the breakdown of this, so I think I'm going to probably do mine and this one just to get that better outcome and really kind of laying it out monthly and yearly. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Without repeating what everybody else says, I would like to add the page with how would you rate yourself. We don't really give participation points to being in this industry, so I would like to go back on this list and kind of use it as a tasks and make sure if I'm a 7 or 8, how do I get to a 10, and just kind of keeping track. I think this is a task I can use ongoing all the time.
Good.
And maybe even add more
Yeah.
to it.
And we may do a 6-month update, a mid-year update of the check yourself. So just a little secret.
For me, everything was amazing. The aha for me would definitely have to be the commission breakdown. I love numbers, so having expenses and stuff, but like you mentioned, there was other things that maybe wasn't on the list. But it was such an aha moment that I had to pull out my computer and create it immediately.
Woo!
I'm new.
Overachiever.
I only have a few transactions. I'm new. I just started this year, so I only have 4 transactions. So it was quick and easy. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And that's good because I don't have a lot of bad habits to break with her. I can train her from the beginning. Yes,
Hello. Yes, my aha is breaking out the expenses and the income taxes. So that is I never manage. This is my first time I'm going to start manage to myself.
Excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here today.
So my aha would be, how would you rate yourself? I like the checklist, just going through the checklist and trying to improve on where I don't rate myself as high. So just improving that.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. What's your aha?
So my 2, number 1, mine is to rate yourself, because when I was going through it, I was really rating myself as if that is actually my rating, and I've rated myself exactly where I was, and I see where my gaps are. So I really like that, so I know what to improve on, and I see my no marks, so that way I now can go back and fill in my no's with yeses of things I need to do or want to do.
Perfect.
And then the numbers, it's funny because I was speaking to one of my coach mentors. She was like, "What's your numbers?" And my whole thing was like, "I don't know."
Oh, no.
And I'll be honest, I didn't know my numbers. So I really needed this class so I can know my numbers, not just guess them.
Hey there.
Good job.
Yay!
Yeah. Good job. Good answer.
All right. We got some aha takeaways going on from this class today. Yeah. I love when you stop in. Yeah, no, stay this way.
Hi,
Stay this way.
everybody.
There we go.
Hi, Donnie.
Yep.
I was trying to stop in and say hi to everybody. Good job.
Good to see you.
Bye, Lynn.
Thank you.
Hey. All right. The financial tracking Excel spreadsheet. And a big one for me is the how to respond to the how's the market question. Because that's something I've wondered. And there's a little formula you've given us, Lynn, that I can work out and feel more confident with that one.
Good.
That's a big one for me.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. You're welcome. Yay.
For me, Excel spreadsheet, absolutely. I'm gonna take that young lady's advice and jump on this thing today. Knowing the high, the medium, and the low, powerful, very powerful. I mean, I think I can save like 20 minutes in an appointment off of that alone. And of course, the rate list.
Yeah,
The rate list
good.
is phenomenal.
Good. Excellent. Alan, you got one more? There you go. Did you find your other?
Found my other one. And it was, you mentioned the sharing your numbers with your broker. And why that's an aha for me. You know, early, when I started in this business, I think it's early 2000, right? We used to do that back in the old days. And the broker wasn't just recruiting agents, you know, the revolving door. They were showing you how to meet your goals. And I mean, we've kind of fallen away from that industry-wide. Now, it's a different business now.
Not in my book.
But yeah, you gotta find,
Yeah,
if
but
it's not
true.
your broker, your office broker, you gotta find somebody. And it's amazing how that works. There was a time when I didn't have a accountability partner or someone, and believe it or not, my 4-year-old served that role, and she did it well.
Ooh.
She knew what my numbers. She knew what my numbers were that day. How many people I needed to call, how many I needed to talk to, how many appointments. 4, and she would ask me every day, and I was scared to not read my numbers. It works. I mean, it works for you. Forget about, and it's even better if you have someone like Lynn who will kick you. Right? But it's very important because I was so much better when I had that. It's not like I don't know what to do. It's like, should I watch another episode of Netflix?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Good. Very good. Thank you all. Okay, so we got some good ahas. I always love it when Donnie pops in. There's just something that just makes me go, oh, he's actually, you know, it's just cool that he does that, and I'm glad that he does. All right, so with that, there you go. We're going to have our drawing, and then we will see you in the next class. So I'm going to shake this up. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Albert. Oh, no. Yay! All right, so his gift today is, I had shared this, I think, last time. It is the notepad. If you can see it on camera, there you go. It's got your daily to-do stuff that you get to write in, obviously your date marker up here. What are your top priorities? Go in this top little one. Important times, so if you've got meetings, you can log, which way is the camera? There we go, that way. It goes right in there. Over here is don't forget, so you can add some reminders in there, and then any notes, short, sweet, to the point, keep you on track. There you go, I am so excited, yes, all right. So with that, thank you so much for taking your time to be with us. I would encourage you to go back, re-listen to it, really study it. You know, we can listen to stuff, but it's not going to completely sink in. And, you know, there's no easy way to do this. This is how we learn, by repetition. So, Implement, yeah. And because, again, you're going to listen to it again, and you're going to be at a different point in your business. So what hits you this time, you're going to go, okay, I got that. But then what's going to hit me this time? So just know that it is a ongoing building process. And I thank you all for taking your time to be with me, to, you know, let me be a little bit of your guiding light. I take that very seriously. So I always make sure that I'm giving you back more in value than you're giving me in time, and to grow your business and help you succeed. So with that, we're going to sign off. Do not leave, because we want to do a class picture. You know, because we want to show off everybody how much fun we had here that they all missed. With that, we will say thank you, thank you, thank you, and we will see you at the next class. Mwah! Okay, bye.